Welcome to Revenge with Lyra. My brother swapped my heart medication as a joke. When I collapsed, my parents begged me to stay quiet. But when the toxicology report arrived, the doctor's face drained of color. What they discovered in my system wasn't just a prank. It was attempted murder. My name is Elodie Parrish, and if you think you know how this story ends, keep watching. What do you call family when the safest place in the world becomes the one with an escape route? The pill bottle looked identical, soft blue, friendly font. Same cap, same rattle, but the rhythm inside was off, like a metronome nudged slightly out of sync. They wheeled me down the fluorescent-lit hallway. I counted ceiling tiles like kids counting shooting stars, wishing for air, wishing for time. Mom held my hand tight. Dad stared down the corridor, avoiding my eyes. My brother lingered too far away, like guilt had measured the distance. The doctor spoke little at first, clipboard, pen, glances exchanged with the lab tech. Then a quiet whisper carried farther than intended, substituted compounds. Dosage enough to stop a heart, if someone wanted it to. I caught the phrase, accidental mix-up, the way you notice thunder on a sunny day. It didn't belong, but it was there. Mom's voice trembled. Please, Elodie, don't make a scene. Dad's jaw tightened into a line. Think of your brother's future. My own future flickered on the monitor. Beep, beep, beep. Promises circled my bed like steam. We'll handle this privately. Let's not ruin lives. We're family. Family shouldn't taste like iron. The doctor returned with the printout. Her hands steady, the paper shivering. She met my eyes as if opening a door meant only for me. Miss Parrish, she said softly, this was not a mistake. Somewhere in the waiting room, a vending machine hummed. Somewhere inside me, something cold clicked into place. I would not be their silence. You said it was a joke. That line echoed so many times I began tasting it in my sleep. A joke that stopped my lungs. A joke that made my heart skip like a broken record. For nights on cardiac monitoring, my arms mapped with lines and bruises. Machines whispering codes I couldn't understand. He brought me flowers, yellow tulips my favorite. He smiled at the foot of my hospital bed like he'd scraped a knee, not poisoned his sister. Come on, Elodie, he shrugged. It was a prank. You're fine, right? You always bounce back. My parents flanked him like defense attorneys. He's just a boy, Dad insisted. He didn't mean harm, Mom pleaded. He loves you, they chorused. But love shouldn't need translation. Dr. Reese wasn't family, so she was the only one speaking the truth. The substance wasn't even remotely connected to my prescribed meds. The dose? Enough to cause arrhythmia. If I hadn't collapsed near someone trained in CPR. Her pause said the rest. I asked her to print everything. 19 pages of betrayal, chemical names, blood markers. I read each line like it was a confession. Then I checked my brother's history on our shared computer. Typed a few keywords. There it was, searches for beta blocker substitutes. Another, how much is too much? He hadn't just switched bottles. He had studied doses, planned timing. The night before my scholarship interview, the one that would have taken me 3 states away from him, they realized he didn't want a sister. He wanted a puppet with a pulse. And the worst part? Everyone knew. I didn't confront him. I watched. Silence can cut sharper than accusation. I needed more than outrage. I needed proof. Evidence that could survive a courtroom, not whispers in a hospital hallway. So I let them think I'd accepted their lies. Like I once swallowed pills I thought were safe. 2 days later, they brought me home. The air felt thinner, or maybe I was just breathing deeper. I checked the medicine cabinet. My original bottle was gone, replaced neatly with a fresh one. Correct label. Wrong timing. Too precise. That night I observed him, laughing with our parents over takeout, watching a comedy. But I noticed him hovering near my water glass. The next morning I set up cameras, cheap, hidden behind books and tissue boxes. One in the kitchen, one in the hallway, one trained on the medicine drawer. It didn't take long. 2 nights later, I reviewed the footage at 3 a.m. There he was, swapping bottles, wearing gloves, wiping handles. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I copied the footage to a flash drive labeled July birthdays and hid it in my sock drawer. I made a second copy and uploaded it to a private cloud folder. I started collecting everything: screenshots of his searches, toxicology reports, labels from tampered bottles, Dr. Reese's analysis, camera footage. One document, one timestamp at a time. This wasn't just attempted murder, it was strategy. And I wasn't just a victim. I was a witness who survived. My parents noticed the shift. I wasn't playing the fragile girl anymore. I was watching, calculating. That scared them more than my collapse ever had. Dad began making offhand comments. Don't hold grudges, Elodie. That's not healthy. Mom brought me tea, sweetened with cinnamon and honey, wrapping lies in comfort. Your brother has always had impulse issues, she said. Impulse? He wore gloves, wiped fingerprints, studied doses. That wasn't impulse. That was intent. Yet they kept gaslighting. You're imagining threats. You're still recovering. Maybe the medication is affecting your thoughts. Don't destroy the family over one mistake. If you want to see what happens next and follow this story to the very end, make sure to subscribe to my channel, Revenge with Lyra, so you won't miss a single revelation. One single mistake could have ended my life. One deliberate, calculated mistake. I stayed silent. Instead, I picked up the phone and called Dr. Ree once more. Are you willing to testify? I asked. She hesitated. Are you sure you want to make this public? I stared at my reflection in the shiny surface of the microwave. The version of me they preferred, fragile, compliant, invisible. I don't want revenge, I said. I want a record. I want the truth to exist somewhere it can't be erased. She agreed. I started documenting everything. The story, the symptoms, the hospital codes. Each day, new memories surfaced. A glance, a whisper, a heartbeat that skipped at the wrong moment. By the time I finished, a whole notebook was filled. Then one morning, I opened the drawer. My flash drive, the one with the July birthdays, was gone. I checked the sock drawer 3 times. Then I checked the cloud. The backup was safe, but I knew they were onto me. Someone had been in my room. And in that moment, I realized my worst fears were confirmed. They weren't protecting him anymore. They were protecting all of them. They had underestimated me. That's what happens when you spend your life being the fragile one, the girl with the heart condition, the one who needed rest, not confrontation. But I had already backed up the backup, and now I had leverage. I went to see Dr. Ree in person, handed her a printed copy of the footage and the medical reports, and told her about the missing flash drive. Her expression hardened. Elodie, she said, this goes beyond a joke. This is criminal behavior. Obstruction. We sat in her office, door locked, blinds drawn. She told me about a discreet patient advocacy lawyer she knew. A sharp, former prosecutor. I'll call him, she said. At home, tension hung in the air like a leaky faucet. No one mentioned poison, but everyone acted as if I was the danger. Dinner was silent. My brother avoided my gaze. Mom cleaned obsessively, cupboards, drawers, even walls. Dad double-locked the garage. One morning, my prescription vanished. Not swapped. Not replaced. Gone. They wanted me scared. They wanted me dependent. I called the lawyer instead. His name was Wes Holloway. His voice was gravel and ice. When I sent him the documents, there was a long pause. You know this is enough to press charges, right? He asked. I do. Do you want to? I hesitated, not because I doubted myself, but because pressing charges meant exposing everything, the family name, the facade, the illusion of loyalty. But they'd already drawn the line. When they erased my meds, they chose. I crossed it. Yes, I said. Let's begin. Somewhere behind closed doors in that house, I swear I heard a drawer slam, like someone realizing the leash was finally off. The first hearing was quiet. Not a trial. Just an initial review to authorize an investigation. My brother didn't show. My parents did. Mom wore her Sunday best face. Dad carried a manila folder, probably filled with excuses. They didn't know I'd signed an affidavit. Didn't know Dr. Ree had. Didn't know Wes had submitted the cloud footage, timestamp browser history, and certified toxicology report. Sealed, admissible evidence. I passed them in the hallway. Mom reached out to touch my arm. Elodie, baby, I pulled back. Don't, I whispered. Her eyes filled with tears, but I no longer believed her. You can't cry over spilled blood when you help set the table. That night, my phone lit up with a message from an unknown number. You're destroying everything. Hope it's worth it. I didn't need to guess who sent it. My brother hated losing. I took a screenshot and sent it to Wes. Seconds later, he replied, "Don't respond. Let it stack. Let it stack." That phrase stayed with me. I wasn't destroying the family. I was documenting it. Every lie, every silence, every manipulation, building a cage around one undeniable truth. They didn't protect me. They protected him, the golden child, the clever one, the boy who just made a mistake. But mistakes don't repeat safely. Mistakes don't wear gloves. Mistakes don't erase medicine and send threats from burner phones. This was deliberate, a pattern, and for the first time in my life, the legal system was paying attention. My brother wasn't just a troubled boy anymore. He was under official investigation. That changed everything. 3 weeks later, a formal letter arrived from the Department of Public Prosecution. Case 41B, Preliminary Criminal Inquiry approved. My brother's full name listed below. It didn't feel like victory. It felt cold, clinical, stripped of any warmth. But justice rarely feels warm. That evening, Mom called the first time since the hearing. "Elodie," she said, voice trembling, "we can fix this. Just drop the charges." I sat on my bed, the unopened pill bottle beside me. "How long have you known?" I asked. Her silence spoke louder than words. Finally, she whispered, "Since the first time you collapsed." "That wasn't this time," I said. "That was 2 years ago." "You mean he's done this before?" "It wasn't the same," she murmured. "It wasn't lethal. He just wanted attention. He never thinks." I cut her off. "No, you all think for him. I'm not your shield. I'm my own person." Click. I hung up. An hour later, my inbox lit up. An anonymous tip acknowledgement. Wes had submitted it on my behalf to the medical board. My brother had access to medications from before. It hadn't started at home. This was bigger. This was about every patient who trusted a label. Every bottle that might not be what it claimed. Wes called. They're opening a wider investigation. The board's involved now. I didn't respond immediately. I stared out the window, watching autumn leaves fall like tiny endings. Truth moves slower than justice sometimes. But when it lands, it hits hard. The courtroom was quiet. No dramatic gavel crashes. No gasps. Just fluorescent lights, rows of chairs, and a judge who didn't flinch even when my brother refused to meet my eyes. The case didn't go to trial. It didn't need to. He was offered a deal. Official confession, mandatory psychological evaluation, revocation of his pharmacy license, 2 years probation, full restraining order. No jail, but a permanent public record. My parents didn't attend. Maybe they understood what the outcome meant. Not just for him, but for them. The fiction they built, that he was troubled, not dangerous, that I was dramatic, not dying, had cracked, filed forever in court transcripts and signed affidavits. Wes handed me the final papers outside. "You did it," he said. I shook my head. "No," I said. "I just stopped letting them rewrite the truth." He smiled and walked away. The trees outside were fire without the burn, and I was standing in it, alive, steady, free. I moved out of state, started a small nonprofit job helping victims of medical abuse tell their stories. Dr. Ree sent a bouquet to my new office. No card, just a quote. "What survives is not silence, but the one who breaks it." I taped it above my mirror, above the new, correct, untouched bottle of pills. I no longer speak to my family, but I wonder if they understand this. Silence isn't safety. It's complicity. And I was never meant to carry it alone. If you found this story powerful, make sure to subscribe to my channel for more real-life stories of survival, truth, and justice.